Hello, my name is Coriolanus Snow, and welcome to my May reading recap. If you've already read any of these, please share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear them. And if you haven't read them and plan to, skip ahead so I don't spoil anything for you. Number 1, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I gave 3 out of 5. I've already logged this one, but I will say physically reading this was more enjoyable, and unfortunately, the movie is a lot better, but they do change things a bit, which I find morally wrong. If you read the Hunger Games trilogy, I do recommend, but if not, I'd just skip this. Number 2, The Mortal Instrument, City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. I gave 4 out of 5. I'm working on a separate video for these. I mildly recommend this series, but it does have 2 incest plot lines, just a heads up. Definitely best for young teenagers, which sounds weird after what I just said. Number 3, The Mortal Instrument, City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. I gave 3.5 out of 5. Same goes for this one. Number 4, The Mortal Instrument, City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. I gave 1.5 out of 5. And same here, but this one has a lot of domestic violence triggers that started in the previous book. There's a character named Maya whose boyfriend had physically hit her. She broke up with him, and then he attacked her and turned her into a werewolf and then stalked her to make sure she was okay. In this book, she falls for him, and it sickens me to read. I know that happens, but I don't want to hear about it. It's written like it's supposed to be romantic too, and this situation is not romantic. Number 5, When I Was Your Age. Life lessons, funny stories, and questionable parenting advice from a professional clown by Kenan Thompson. I gave 4 out of 5. I didn't think I'd like this much since usually male celebrity autobiographies are pretty disgusting, and people who try to be funny usually make me cringe, but I was pleasantly surprised. I hadn't realized how much of my childhood Kenan was until reading this. I grew up on all that, and Kenan and Kel. Good Burger was my favorite movie for a very long time, but I never really got into Saturday Night Live. Hearing his story felt like catching up with an old friend. I definitely recommend the audiobook format because he's good at storytelling in not just what he says, but how he says it. Number 6, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I gave 0 out of 5. I didn't finish this one, but I wanted to include it because I hated the roughly 15% I made it through so much that I felt a need to complain about it. A woman meets a doctor on a rooftop who's smoking, which is already gross. I don't want any doctor that is actively harming themselves and smoking, especially because the damage that it does to everyone you encounter is so extensive. It's probably the worst habit. At least I'm not going to get lung cancer from people shooting heroin in themselves, but I sure will off your cigarette that I'm forced to walk by to go get groceries. I think he's smoking a joint here, but still, I'm allergic to weed, so it's still bothersome to me, and it's just rude. Anyway, he asks the main character why she needs fresh air. Like, I don't know, why would I, a human being, want some fresh air that you're now contaminating with your sick habit? She asks for his last thought, and he says he wants to fuck her right now. So gross. Then he makes it better by saying marriage repulses him. He doesn't need relationships because women will satisfy his needs anyway, and kids aren't in his life plan because they'll never live up to his success. And I'm definitely not for having kids, but that's such a pompous reason. Then he begs her to fuck him and says he'll never speak to her again. Ew. Just ew. I hate that people treat sex as casual. No matter how safe you are, you can get pregnant, get herpes, AIDS, list any other STD here, some of which are life-ending, and some transferred even just by kissing. It's not casual. Stop trying to make it casual. Get a hobby, damn. I do not recommend this at all, and I'm so disappointed to hear it's becoming a movie with Blake Lively. You could do so much better. Number 7, Sorry Not Sorry, Dreams, Mistakes, and Growing Up by Naya Rivera. I gave 3.5 out of 5. Naya's autobiography that I'm so glad we got before she passed away. I relate to her a lot in this and enjoyed her storytelling. It follows her child acting years, love life, struggling as a teen, and having Glee kind of save her. I only don't like that she's adamant on people living out their hoe years, and I disagree with that mindset. She struggled through an abortion and still says people should have those hoe years, but be safe. There's no 100% way to be safe. Even if safety and health weren't concerns, it's not best for everyone's mindsets to fuck around. There's no one size fits all. If sledding around was good for her, then cool. But don't tell others to live that way, especially being a celebrity who has influence in people's behaviors. By the way, she used these terms. I think she called them her whore and slut years. I'm not trying to call her names. She used them on herself. I do still recommend this book, though, and I hope she's resting in peace now. Number 8, The Mortal Instruments, City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. I gave 2 out of 5. The horrible finale of the Mortal Instruments series that I will sum up in its own video. Number 9, 4, The Transfer by Veronica Roth. I gave 3 out of 5. This feels like the beginning of Divergent until she chooses Dauntless, but 4's experience instead. It's a prequel, but I'm bored with the similarities. His father is very abusive, though, which is different. His name 4 originates from having only 4 fears. Number 10, 4, The Initiate by Veronica Roth. I gave 2.5 out of 5. The Dauntless crew all dare each other to do things. It's so funny how juvenile these are. He's dared to get a tattoo, which he does. Other people get piercings. Ooh, so badass. 4 gets officially initiated, and that's it. Number 11, 4, The Sun by Veronica Roth. I gave 2.5 out of 5. 4 sees his mom after thinking she's been dead for a long time. She explains that she's factionless and wants him to join them, but he's disgusted by her and runs off. Eric suggests making members fight for their place in the faction, and anyone who loses would become factionless. This will all make more sense once I get to Divergent and explain the premise of the world. I probably should have thought ahead and done that, but oh well. This ends with 4 sending a note to his mom saying someday. Number 12, 4, The Traitor by Veronica Roth. I gave 2.5 out of 5. Time fast forwards a year, and now Triss is there, and this shows her entrance into Dauntless from his perspective. Number 13, Divergent by Veronica Roth. I gave 3.5 out of 5. Okay, now for the main series. No idea why I logged the 4 prequels first with no elaboration of the world at all. In this world, everyone's divided into 5 factions. Erudite, who value knowledge. Amity, who value kindness and are farmers. Candor, who value honesty almost to a fault. Abnegation, who value selflessness. And Dauntless, who are brave and the protectors of the land. At 16, everyone goes through testing to find out which faction they line up with best, but ultimately they're allowed to choose. I never understood the point of the testing. Beatrice is our lead, who is in abnegation, but her tests are inconclusive, which she's told to keep a secret. She chooses Dauntless at the ceremony. The choice aspect is even funnier to me because it's like, do you want to farm or do you want to be an angsty 16-year-old and get piercings and tattoos? The new Dauntless members have to jump onto a moving train to get to their new home, and then are put into a bunch of hazing tests, starting with jumping into blackness, which Beatrice volunteers to do first. One of the older Dauntless members, 4, is impressed with her bravery and tells her she should pick a new name, so she goes with Triss. Right away, she meets a former Candor, Christina, who quickly becomes her close friend. Once they're at their new home, their leader Eric tells them that they're all fighting for their spots in Dauntless, and the losers will become factionless, which is basically homeless. Triss does really good, too good even to the point that a group of people try to kill her, including someone she thought was her friend, who ends up killing himself when she doesn't forgive him. For some reason in the movie, they made it seem like she performed really bad, but in the book she does really good, so I don't know why they made that change. They all get really silly dares, and Triss starts getting a bunch of tattoos. It's so funny to me what they think is tough. Her and 4 get close, and he realizes that she's Divergent, meaning the faction placement test was non-conclusive. Her mom visits on Parents' Day and warns her that there's a fight coming and to tell her brother, who chose to be erudite. Eric mind controls the Dauntless members into participating in the fight, but the mind control doesn't work on Triss and 4. This is when she finds out that he's also Divergent. They play along but find each other and then break free. They get captured though, and 4 gets mind controlled somehow, and then they try to drown Triss, but her mom breaks her free. They run, but her mom gets killed. Triss makes it to a factionless house where her brother and her dad are. Her brother had left Erudite once he found out that they were helping with the mind control. They all go to Dauntless headquarters to stop the mind control. They run into Peter, the guy who first tried to kill her when she was doing too well. He helps them find the controls. She finds Four and breaks him out of his mind control, and they manage to stop all the mind control and break free, but her dad dies in the process. And that's book 1. It's okay. I feel a little nostalgic for this one, but not a lot because I did first read it as an adult. But what they decide is tough and what is weak really bothers me and kept killing my vibe. I rated it pretty high, but I don't think I'd recommend it because I feel like it's giving a poor message. Number 14, Insurgent by Veronica Roth. I gave 3 out of 5. The Divergent sequel. This starts with everyone taking refuge in Amity. Amity agrees to have everyone stay as long as they work and don't fight. Triss is having nightmares of the memory of killing her friend Will. Peter sneaks up on her and steals the hard drive that controls the simulation everyone was in before, and they get into a physical brawl over it. The Amity people drug her to calm her down. Once she recovers, others come looking for them, and they try to blend in, which doesn't work out great, and they try to run to the city and jump on a train that's occupied with the factionless. Among the factionless is Four's mother. Later, Triss runs into Christina, who solemnly tells her that Will is dead, and Triss doesn't mention that she knows because she's the one who killed him. Triss is extra annoying in this one. She keeps lying and keeping secrets. Everyone's forced to go under a truth serum in front of everyone, and Triss admits to killing Will, which upsets Christina. Even Four acts weird about it. At this point in rereading, I rewatched the movie and then finished the book, so I'm gonna try my best to keep them separate, but I might slip up. Four beats up his father. Later, Triss is being reckless, and Four gives her an ultimatum of taking care of herself or being with him. I hate their relationship. They're always thinking about each other in a don't be a little bitch kind of way that bothers me. It's okay to have emotions. Triss asks Tori to help make a plan against Janine. Tori agrees, and when she announces it to everyone, they say they need leaders and vote for Tori, Triss, and Four. Triss had stabbed Eric earlier, which allowed for him to be captured, and Triss is supposed to perform his execution, but he asks Four to do it instead, which he does. In the movie, there's a dramatic scene where Christina is under the mind control and walks off a ledge, and Triss catches her and pulls her back up, even though Christina is still upset about Will. That's not what actually happens, though. Here, Christina wakes up Triss to tell her about the people being mind controlled and takes her to the roof where there's 3 of them, and someone else is saying to bring Janine a Divergent, any Divergent. They run together to save them before they step off the roof, but one falls to her death. Afterwards, Christina approaches a very rude Triss and tells her that she forgives her for killing Will because now she has seen what the mind control can do and believes her. Triss snaps at her for not trusting her to begin with, which is so annoying, but Christina takes it and hugs Triss as she cries. I'm realizing how much they butchered this for the movie now. Triss slips out to sacrifice herself while Four is sleeping, but here she talks to Christina and tells her she's going to see Caleb. She arrives to see Peter working for Janine, which the movie got right, but here Janine tells her that she's glad she specifically came because she tested positive for 3 factions, which makes her one of the strongest Divergents. In the movie, Eric was testing everyone and got 100% reading of Divergence on Triss, which makes no sense because she's 3 out of 5. That's not 100%. In the movies, she's made to levitate by weird wires, but here it's more like a hospital. They do an MRI to teach students, and Triss asks to see 2, which she's allowed to before her scheduled execution. Peter breaks her out, and they meet up with the factionless. Triss and Four take a bath together, and I'm surprised they didn't put that in the movie considering how much Hollywood loves nudity. Everyone is working towards getting some dangerous information from Janine. Triss teams up with Christina and Marcus to get the data. Christina gets injured and Marcus tells Triss to leave her, which she does. While there, she's gassed with the mind control substance. They refer to it as simulations throughout the series, but that word is ruined for me. Christina ends up fine, and Janine is killed. Four brings Triss the data, which is a recording of a woman named Amanda Ritter, who is fighting for peace. Amanda ends the video saying her memories of the fight will be erased and her new identity will be Edith Pryor, a family member to Triss. People start yelling and the book ends. That's all for May. Happy reading. Bye.